Good morning, and welcome to Prime America. I'm Rachel, and tonight we bring you a special report that may define a turning point in modern global history. The date is March 29, 2026. And what we are witnessing right now is not just another geopolitical crisis. It is not a routine escalation. It is not a contained conflict. What we are watching live in real time is the unraveling of a global security system that has stood for nearly 8 decades. The architecture built by the United States after World War II, the alliances, the bases, the deterrence strategy is not just under pressure, it is collapsing. And it is collapsing fast. Let me be absolutely clear about what we're learning tonight. Across the Middle East, the United States military has begun abandoning its long-standing physical presence. Major installations, multi-billion-dollar bases that once symbolized American dominance, are being evacuated, damaged, or rendered inoperable. This is not strategic repositioning. This is retreat under fire. Reports confirm that numerous U.S. personnel commanders, logistics teams, intelligence officers are now operating in temporary locations, including commercial hotels and improvised offices scattered across the Gulf region. Think about that for a moment. The most powerful military force on Earth, coordinating a regional war effort from hotel rooms. It defies doctrine. It defies expectation. And it signals something far deeper than tactical adjustment. It signals vulnerability. Why is this happening? Because those bases are no longer safe. They have become targets. Over the past several weeks, a coordinated wave of strikes primarily attributed to Iranian military operations has systematically degraded American infrastructure across the region. Satellite imagery shows the damage: collapsed hangars, shattered radar systems, destroyed runways, and burning fuel depots. These are not symbolic hits. These are precise, calculated strikes designed to cripple operational capability. The scale is staggering. Dozens of installations have been impacted. Hundreds of millions of dollars in damage have already been recorded. But the real cost cannot be measured in dollars. It is measured in strategic disadvantage, in lost deterrence, and in rising instability. Even more alarming is how these strikes are being carried out. They are not random. They are not blind. They are accurate, dangerously accurate. And that accuracy suggests something critical. Iran is not acting alone. Intelligence assessments increasingly point to external support, advanced targeting data, satellite intelligence, and logistical coordination that dramatically enhances operational precision. This is modern warfare at its most evolved, networked, informed, and relentless. But the battlefield is not limited to missiles and drones, and has expanded into intelligence, influence, and psychological pressure. There are growing concerns about surveillance networks across the region, efforts to track, identify, and expose the temporary locations of American personnel. In a war where mobility is survival, even a hotel room can become a target. The battlefield has no clear front line anymore. It is everywhere. Let's step back and understand the broader picture. For decades, American military strategy relied heavily on forward deployment bases positioned strategically across key regions to project power, deter adversaries, and respond rapidly to threats. That model is now under direct challenge. Fished installations, once seen as strengths, are becoming liabilities in an era of precision strike capability in drone warfare. What was once a shield is now a target. And this brings us to a critical shift in the nature of war itself. The rules have changed. We are no longer looking at traditional large-scale troop movements or prolonged ground offenses as the primary tools of conflict. Instead, we are seeing the rise of drone swarms, autonomous systems, and low-cost, high-impact technologies that can overwhelm even the most advanced defenses. Missile defense systems, long considered the backbone of protection, are being tested in ways they were never designed for. Swarms of small, fast, and inexpensive drones can saturate defenses, forcing billion-dollar systems to respond to threats that cost a fraction of the price. It is not just a tactical challenge. It is an economic one. Meanwhile, global powers are watching and adapting. Some are showcasing advanced drone capabilities. Others are refining electronic warfare systems. And some have already spent years learning how to counter exactly these kinds of attacks. This is not the war of the past. This is the war of the future. And it is already here. But while the battlefield evolves, diplomacy appears increasingly strained. Alliances are being tested. Trust is eroding. and traditional partnerships are showing signs of fracture under the weight of rapid escalation. In regions once stabilized by shared security frameworks, uncertainty is growing. Nations are beginning to reassess their dependencies. Some are exploring independent defense strategies, others are forming new alignments. The global balance is shifting, and it is shifting quickly. The economic consequences are equally severe. The Middle East is not just a geopolitical hotspot, it is a critical artery of global energy supply. Any disruption in this region sends shockwaves through markets worldwide. Shipping routes are under pressure. Energy prices are volatile. Supply chains are strained. From Asia to Europe, nations are already feeling the effects of fuel shortages, rising costs, and growing concerns about long-term stability. This is not a regional crisis. It is a global one. And then there is the human cost. Behind every headline, every statistic, every strategic analysis there are lives being affected. Service members operating under extreme conditions, civilians caught in zones of uncertainty, families watching from afar hoping for safety in a situation that grows more unpredictable by the hour. War is never just about territory or power. It is about people. So where does this leave us? At a crossroads, a moment where decisions made in the coming days and weeks could shape the trajectory of global stability for years, perhaps decades to come. Will escalation continue? Will diplomacy regain footing? Will alliances adapt or fracture further? These are not abstract questions. They are immediate, urgent, and deeply consequential. Here at Prime America, we are committed to bring you clarity in the midst of chaos. We will continue to track developments across the region, military movements, diplomatic efforts, economic impacts, and provide you with the information you need to understand not just what is happening, but why it matters. Because in moments like this, understanding is power. Tonight's report is not just about conflict. It is about transformation, the transformation of warfare, the transformation of global power, and the transformation of a world order that, until now, many believed was unshakable. I'm Rachel. This is Prime America. Stay informed, stay aware, and stay with us as we continue to follow this developing story. Good night.